Something isn't right at this Six Flags park. And I'm not talking about one ride or one area. I mean, the entire place feels off. At first, it looks like a normal theme park. Big coasters, crowds, bright colors. But the longer you're there, the more you start noticing things that don't quite add up. Weird pathways, random layouts, rides that feel completely disconnected. And somehow, two of the best roller coasters in the world just exist in the middle of all of it. This is Six Flags New England, and the more you look at it, the stranger it gets. The first thing that feels off, and honestly one of the biggest complaints people have, is the layout. This park is confusing in a way that's hard to explain until you actually experience it. It's not like a clean loop or a hub and spoke like Disney. It's more like one long path with random branches shooting off of it. You'll be walking down what seems like the main path, and suddenly there's just a random side area. And then that side area might lead to another dead end, or a ride tucked away that you didn't even realize existed. There are sections where rides feel completely isolated, like they were just dropped there with no real connection to the rest of the park. And because of that, you're constantly second-guessing where you are. There's also this weird flow issue. The pathways can feel narrow or crowded in certain spots, then suddenly open up into empty areas. It's like the park expands and contracts randomly as you move through it. And what makes it even stranger is, this wasn't really designed from scratch. This park dates all the way back to the 1800s and evolved over time from a picnic grove into a full amusement park. So instead of a planned layout, it's more like layers of history stacked on top of each other. Which sounds cool, but in reality, it creates this weird, almost patchwork feeling. And that leads directly into the overall vibe of the park, which is honestly one of the strangest parts. Because visually, nothing is terrible, but nothing really connects either. You'll have one area that feels kind of classic and nostalgic, almost like an old trolley park. Then you turn a corner and suddenly it's DC superheroes. Then another turn and you're in something that feels halfway themed, but not fully. The Wild West section, named Crackaxle Canyon, is well themed and has some good rides. But I've always found that this area feels very random and not adequately separated from the rest of the park. It's not ugly, it just seems to have been tossed in without regard for sightlines or proper pacing of themed areas. There are moments where it almost feels charming, like pieces of the old Riverside Park still shining through. One example is the main entrance area where old-time charm briefly shines through. But then, right next to it, you'll see something that completely breaks that illusion. It creates this weird liminal feeling, like you're in a theme park, but also not fully in one. Some visitors even describe the experience as surreal and kind of unsettling. And honestly, yeah, that's the vibe. But then, you get to the rides. And this is where things get even weirder. Because somehow, in the middle of all this chaos, this park has one of the best 1-2 punches of coasters anywhere. Superman the Ride is absolutely insane. Having grown up in New England, this was easily my favorite ride growing up. This thing has been ranked as one of the top steel coasters in the world for years, and once you ride it, you understand why. The airtime is ridiculous. It just keeps going. Massive hills, speed, smoothness. It feels like it doesn't belong in a park like this. It's almost too good. Like, how is this ride here? Then you've got Wicked Cyclone, an RMC that takes an old wooden coaster and turns it into this aggressive, twisted, non-stop ride. Sharp turns, ejector airtime, crazy pacing. It's completely different from Superman, but just as elite. And together, these two rides basically carry the entire park. Even people who don't love the park admit it. The top two coasters here are incredible and kind of hold everything together. But that's also part of the problem, because once you ride those, everything else feels weirdly underwhelming. You've got rides like Flashback, which is literally a cloned boomerang coaster that runs the same layout forward and backward. It's disorienting, kind of rough, and just feels out of place compared to the top-tier rides. Then there's older rides like Thunderbolt, which has history going back to 1941. And while that's cool, it adds to that strange mix of eras, modern rides next to rides from almost a century ago. I have also felt that the flat ride selection in this park was severely underwhelming compared to other theme parks of this scale. And because of that, the lineup feels unbalanced. You go from world class to why is this here in like 5 minutes. And one more thing people constantly talk about, the overall experience. Not just the layout or rides, but how the park runs. There are complaints about slow operations, confusing lines, and just a general lack of polish compared to bigger parks. On my past visits, I have also found that parking and getting into the park is a nightmare, with the stairs and bridge leading into the park creating an annoying choke point. And when you combine that with the weird layout, it just adds to that off feeling. You're already a little disoriented, and then the park experience itself doesn't quite flow either. But here's the weirdest part of all of this. Despite everything, people still like this park. It's not clean and perfect like Disney. It's not super polished. It's not even that well organized. But it has character. It has history. And those top rides are so good that they make the entire experience worth it. So yeah, something isn't right at this Six Flags park. The pathways don't flow. The theming doesn't connect. The ride lineup is completely unbalanced. And yet, it still works. In a strange, chaotic, almost accidental way. And honestly, that might be exactly why it's so interesting.